Since the end of the 19th century, video has been a key component in the musical experience. Growing into an art form on its own, the music video has grown alongside the technology of the day, shifting from cinema to television to the internet and social media. Any music lover can rattle off a list of favorites and classics, but how many music video producers can you name? This is Kingston Live, and for the second time, the Kingston Film Office has hosted their music video initiative at the Kingston Canadian Film Festival. This initiative connects local musicians with local video producers and funds the development of a video. But it's more than just an opportunity for musicians to develop some new content. It's a chance to showcase the people behind the camera and their vital contributions to the music scene and industry. We're joined by three of those people. Céline, Klein, Middaugh, and Brent Nurse have all connected with local artists, and they've each taken the opportunity to stretch their creativity and make something exciting. All right, let's get started. Hello, it's John. This is Kingston Live. I am here with three video producers, film producers. Let's start by introducing yourselves. Tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Middaugh. I guess I'm a filmmaker. I run Happy Kid Productions.
Céline Klein, filmmaker for Jamstone Productions.
Brent Nurse here too with bNice Films. And yeah, film producer and director.
Thank you all for joining me today. I'm really excited about what we're going to be talking about because this sort of happened 3 years ago and of course got derailed by COVID. I don't want to commiserate about that too much because I think we all did that both on mic and off. But I'm very grateful that it's happening again. I'm grateful to see so much support, not just for the musical community, but also the media community as well. And it's just so great to see everybody paired up. And it's amazing that, because this was 3 years ago, the last one happened, and this is only the second time this is happening. So yeah, it's just so cool. I want to start with a really boring question, actually. Budget. Now, I remember last time every pairing of musician and production company got, I think it was $1,000. Is that the same this time?
2,000 this time.
2,000.
Doubled
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Very good. So how do you react to that? Like, because $2,000 sounds like a pretty decent chunk of money, but for a film, that's a pretty small budget. So is it like, wow, we've got $2,000, or is it, okay, we've got $2,000. What do you do with that?
Well, I don't know. For us, Savannah demanded a trailer for a day, so that was the budget. I mean, they always, I don't know what your impression is or what you guys are spending on stuff, but like for us, like we haven't had to spend a lot on the physical stuff. Like, I mean, I think the idea is to help cover the production company's costs and things. And for this one, I did have to actually take some time off for video editing and stuff and things like that. And Steve and, buy food, buy things. Did you guys spend a lot on, did you have to like pump a lot into?
I don't know. I've done
stuff?
such a range of like video. I was talking to Miss Emily the other day, who I've worked with on a bunch of other stuff. The first video we did together, I got paid $50, and it was whatever, like 12 years
Which
ago.
video was that?
Secret of Addiction. I think it might still be on her website, but I don't
know if I've seen that one.
She was recording at North of Princess Studios, and Zane just called me to come down, and they just wanted some B-roll, but we ended up kind of getting enough to make a little music video out of. But I was just being paid $50 to show up, and so to me, like, that's where I started. Okay, it's more than $50, so that's great. I think the main deal that if the production stuff. Zane and Olivia, who are the two people I worked with on this video, if they helped with the production stuff, then the budget's great because the budget's paying for my time and I'm actually getting paid.
I remember 3 years ago, personally, I was just in Kingston for a year and a half, and like Alex Johnson invited me on the project. So, oh my God, 1,000, that's great. What can I do with that? And I did not even put myself in the budget. And I ended up just keeping what was left, which was ridiculous. Won't say the number, but like, so this time...
Ridiculous low or ridiculous high?
Ridiculous low.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Mostly when you're like, I worked on that for like 3-4 months and barely paid the run of groceries with it. Kind of hurts, but...
Yeah, well, I remember last time we talked to Braden from Make Hay Media, now Untold Storytelling, and he said they spent the whole budget on sets. That was it.
I still don't know how he built all that for $1,000 though. Sorry, Brady, not questioning it. I'm just kidding. And well, the new one too. Like I'm watching what they're doing with the new one, and I'm like, one of those corner sets would cost $900 if you're a theater company doing it, because they look very big and ambitious, which is cool.
Yeah, I also love to see the cut down of their budget and
Yeah.
explanation.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of hands in too. So like, yeah, for us too, it's just we got to get paid. So everyone gets a video. They get a video. We get to be professional for a bit, not pulling our hair out trying to figure out how to, fit this in with paying gigs or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
well, how does everybody come together? Because I know there's an application process both for the producers and the musicians, correct? Mm-hmm. So once they have everybody selected, how do they decide who's working with who?
Well, this year, all the bands and musicians had to apply in September. Then the companies had a month to select 3 favorite musicians they wanted to work with, so top 1, 2, and 3. And then I think the committee or like KCFF or something like tried to match us with our choices as well as possible. So that was like that, the selection this year.
Okay.
Yeah, the first time we just got to pick. Like
Yeah,
it was sort
last
of
time we
the
could just
bands were
pick.
pitching to us, and then we could just choose them and contact them and work it out that way. And then this time, we were sort of paired up.
Okay. So if you have that choice, what do you look for in an artist? Or is it the artist or is it the song that you find attractive?
Both.
Yeah. But I mean, do you look at somebody and say, oh, I can work with this? Something else I wanted to talk about, and this kind of relates, is specialties, because I'm sure what you do is like any other industry where you sort of find your strengths and your weaknesses, and you get a sense of the types of projects that you want to work on and the ones that are going to play to your strengths. Do you sort of apply that when you're looking at the artists?
Yeah, for sure. I wanted something that I was comfortable with. Like, I mean, you're going to be paired up with the artist and they're going to be stuck with you as well as you with them. Mm-hmm. And you want someone that you can make something that works for them, that helps them. Like if it was like a hardcore metal band, I don't know that I know how to make that video. Like, I don't know that my like trying to be kind of funny on location stuff works for that. Like they probably want like smoke machines and fire and stuff. And it's sort of out of my league. So yeah, it's definitely looking for something that fits, that you think you can do a good job for them. I loved listening to all the bands because they applied, but there wasn't any screening before we got them. So we just got like a huge list of like 50 artists. We go through and they all had, a wide range of levels of production on their videos or just their songs or whatever. It's great to hear all of them.
With this, this was the first time where I think I went into a video ahead of time thinking, I want to do this. Like I had kind of a notion of what I wanted to do, like visually, and just sort of I've been watching a lot of like weird stuff and like David Lynch and stuff. Do you know David Lynch?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I was just like, I want to do a David Lynch video, And sort of had a notion that I was working with Savannah and Aaron for this one, Holmberg there. But listening to the other bands too was kind of neat because I'm like, I can't remember the bands. I know I picked Keaton was the one guy I picked. And then I can't remember who the third one was. But I ended up listening to like pretty much everything. It was like a playlist, and like thinking like, where would this fit really well? And, like for a weird video. So
I'm really interested to see what you've put together because I got to see Jay's and Celine's rough cuts of their videos. Yours is the only one I haven't seen. Yeah, when you say David Lynch, I'm really curious to see what's going on.
Yeah, it was due on Friday. I had technical mishaps, so we got an extension, and I'm sure I'll have it ready 5 minutes after I'm supposed to on Friday. So I like to keep KCFF under, in suspense with my stuff usually.
You can bring it to the screening.
Yeah. Oh, we did that.
I heard about that.
Yeah. Yeah, that first feature film, we showed up with the screening. Did I tell you this story? No. The first movie we did was like After the Fall. Yep. And like we had a copy of it, and we literally walked up to the projectionist, the poor girl, had the baby grand up on the rafters there, you know, and I said, "Here, put this disc in. If it doesn't work, put the other one back in." She was just like, I was like, Steve is like dusting the snow off his coat, coming in the door, going, "Here, take the disc." Yeah.
So let's talk about concepts and actually putting the videos together. And Jay, I remember last time you worked with Okra Jav, and I love that video, but I remember talking to the guys later, and they said that they wanted to do something with roller skates, and you were like, "No, we're not doing that."
Yeah, they had a pitch. It actually is an Odds video. I knew it sounded familiar when they told me, but the band The Odds in the 90s did exactly. I don't think they had seen it. I think it was just a roller rink 70s kind of vibe, but it's exactly, I don't remember which song it is that the Odds did that video for, but yeah, it already existed. And they just ended up deciding they wanted something retro and something. They love the movie The Breakfast Club, which is puzzling to me, but that's okay. It
turned out great.
It's an odd movie if you watch it now, because I watched it to make the video or whatever. Yeah, and we had a few meetings, I think, before we could nail down a concept. It's funny working with, I think I always go in with like a pitch and I'm really confident in it, and then almost every time it gets shot down. And I guess they came in the same way, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to find something new. And it's different than making a movie when you're like working with a musician, because it's the video is going to represent them more than it represents you, even though you're directing it. Mm-hmm. It's going to be with their name on it, not your name. So that negotiation and figuring out like what can I make that fits them. Yeah, we ended up with The Breakfast Club, and it was fun. And that's all I really want out of a music video, is it to be fun to watch.
Céline, how do you approach artists when coming up with it? Because you've done many music videos. I've seen a lot of your work. I find there are two kinds of music videos. There's sort of the performance video, and then there's the concept video where there's like more of a story. The one you're doing right now is definitely more of a performance, but like, how do you work with an artist and trying to find the best way to represent them and their art?
By the way, it's funny because another band this year had also a water ring video idea. Someone else also wanted to do that this year, just like roller ring. I guess it's a thing.
Yeah. Kingston needs a roller rink.
Exactly. For this year edition, I put Ricky KaKaow in my selection because it's been a while. Peter, my light designer, and I had the idea to just focus on lights for a video. Like, we work a lot with the Wilderness. It doesn't work to just work on lights with them. We needed someone a little bit weirder or more like original music. I was like, oh, KaKaow, that's perfect. He's so weird and psychedelic and electro and everything. Like, of course he's going to want lights. So we got paired with him, perfect. And on the first thing, I was like, okay, Ricky, well, Peter and I, we don't want a story. Just want to focus on lights. And he was like, fuck yeah. So...
I can hear him saying that too.
Yeah. So... yeah, slowly, like, then it was honestly a lot on, like, Peter and I, like, okay, now what kind of lights can we do with that budget, with that time frame? We're busy, and we really wanted to rent a black room, so we rented the black room at the Baylor. You can't rent it for, like, 2 or 3 days with the budget we got, so it was, okay, what can we do in 1 day and make as much lights as possible and different light concept, and we're just going to work together. And at the same time, I also know Ricky also wanted a lot of like mirror, psychedelic, strobe effects at the editing after. I'm like, okay, so it was just really hard to like think the physical place concept of like my lights look like that, but I'm gonna work so hard on them then at the editing that shot is not even gonna look like that shot anymore. And I'm really not used to do this kind of effects. Honestly, it was a really like first time for me. Don't know if people are going to like it, but it's definitely very strobe.
Well, I was going to say, if you are someone who is susceptible to epileptic seizures, then maybe you want to pass on the event at the Grand. Otherwise, yeah, I thought it looked great.
Just close your eyes for 5 minutes, 20 seconds.
It's pretty intense. Yeah.
It's pretty intense. Yeah, I put a warning at the beginning just in case. that's what happened for me this year. Just, it was something we wanted to do, lots of lights. We found the perfect musicians to do it, and did that. But definitely not where I'm like the most comfortable for in music video. Like I rather go on like more funny, like you're like more narrative, more like different locations, different scenes. But it was a good challenge and a good experience.
And Brent, you mentioned David Lynch inspiration already. What can we expect? Yours is the only one I haven't seen.
The exact opposite, I guess. Very melodic, black and white-ish. Hopefully pretty like transy, like just sort of more of a trans state kind of thing. And like just, I don't know, I wanted like I said, like I went into this with an idea and just wanted to like, okay, I'll be honest too. Part of it is I want this to be easier than some of my music videos have been in the past. And we just came off of finishing the TV show. So I'm like, I want something simple, like shoot it. Yeah, we ended up shooting at the Bader too. And like for mostly and yeah, just wanted to like, and I've been collecting like slow motion shots over the last few months for it and different things. And we went to Savannah and Aaron and said, hey, this is what I want to do. And they're like, yeah. And Savannah for sure was like really into like weird and surreal. And then of course we all just jammed on it and built on it and said, how about this? How about you're living in a box? How about the box is also a projector, but also you're surrounded by screens and like, so we built all this stuff and because of Steve's and mine experience because of the pandemic, we had to almost green screen our entire like the second season of the TV show that we did. And so it's taught us a lot of doing stuff. So this one, we're just going to build it all, in post and just going to collect all this imagery and see what matches. And it was interesting too, because we did this first shot with Savannah, just close-ups of her singing, like just to have them. Wasn't sure if I was going to use singing shots or not. And then in between that and the second shot, she lost her eyebrows. And so it really worked well because it sort of matched perfectly with a David Lynch sort of idea, like sort of this different Savannah from before, so yeah, hopefully it comes together. It was fun. It looks cool. It looks kind of or so far it's looking like what I wanted. So
good.
Yeah. Did you ever anyone here see Soylent Green?
Yeah.
So I went.
I think this year is Soylent Green.
Yes, I think it is.
It's one of those movies that's made in the 70s and it takes place in the future, but of course we catch up. And I believe, this year is now 2023 is.
Yeah. But that was where this got started. Was at I don't know if you remember at the end of the movie. What's his name? The old guy goes in to die, and he's surrounded by all these giant screens of beautiful images of Earth past, like deer and sunsets and beautiful things. And I'm like, I wanted to do that, like the Death Chamber, but mixed with David Lynch. So Savannah loved it. So I'm like, I don't know if she'll like this or not. Like I didn't really know her that well. And Aaron though, he threw together some clips quickly with it. It's like, this is what we're gonna do. So we digitally made the big black room there and at the Bader Center into this surround screen experience. So hopefully it works.
Just as an aside, you've alluded to your show a couple times. Do you want to just plug the show quickly?
That was on purpose that way. It just surrounded City of Shadows, season 2 for Bell, about 5 episodes about the darker history of Kingston. So, and we're actually premiering it this year at the festival.
Oh, very good. On
actually the same night as our screening. Like we do the music thing, and then in the baby grand is City of Shadows. So we did like Sir John A., the drunk Sir John A., building Canada with a bottle of whiskey in one hand. Rats in Kingston.
I think I saw one about Skeleton Park.
That was the first season, yeah.
Yeah.
The KKK in this area in the 20s. Really? Yep, that was very big.
Huh.
And 2 more episodes that I never remember them all. But anyways.
That's okay.
But yeah.
Thank you for listening to Kingston Live. Be sure to subscribe on your platform of choice and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. For more great Kingston music, check out the Kingston Live playlist on Spotify. For show listings, artist info, and all things Kingston music, check out kingstonlive.ca.
I'm curious about working with the talent because musicians are performers, but they're not necessarily actors. So what's that process like? Céline, I imagine it was easy for you because Ricky's just so full of energy and you can just kind of let him loose, right?
I don't even know how he kept all that energy. Like, we met at the Vader at 8 a.m. I think we started filming at like 9 a.m. and he just did it again and again and again until 8:30, 9 p.m. Like, I don't know how you did that. And just one guy, like, you can't even get the support of your, like, bandmates. No, just him. It was, and every time I was like, can you jump more, please? Like, can you, like, use the space? Like, he was so tired.
We are anti-silence.
It's really hard sometimes, honestly. Like, for some past music videos I've done, like, I found a solution now. Like, as much as I can, I always work with my friend, Emily Kate. She never worked at all in the cinema industry or movie industry except with me. But she's, like, a dancer and she loves the choreography of, like, dance or acting. And she's my second pair of eyes. And, like, she has that energy, this way to, like, always get, like, the musician's attention and she make them do what she wants. But for what I want, I don't know, it's actually really great every time. And like, she works with Liam before, with Jonas before, this time with Ricky, and like, she's way better than me at like directing the musicians themselves and like make them relax and like, okay, you're performing, but you're also acting. Mm-hmm. And like, Céline needs you to do that shot the same way, again and again and again. This is not, you're not on stage. You cannot just jump wherever you want. This is filmed. That's good to have a support like that around.
Yeah. Well, and Jay, you've been working with Luella, and that video, the one that we're going to see, that's more of a story, right? There's a little more, I want to say drama without giving too much away, but yeah, there's a little more happening there.
How much can we give away?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just wondering what that process is like. Again, just someone being a performer, but not necessarily an actor.
Yeah, Luella, who I know is Olivia, because she's my daughter's friend. Yeah. Olivia, who I've known since she was like 4. She does act, and I think singers are actors, kind of. Like, I don't think you see it a lot even in movies and TV that there'll be musicians that come on and are just great natural actors because that's what they're doing on stage. Sometimes it's hard on videos, but Liv's great, and the whole video's in slow-mo, so it doesn't matter what the characters say. So we just did a lot of, between her and the other lead in the video, we just did a lot of improv stuff where I would just give them like a scene to act out that had nothing to do with the scene that they were in. They'd be doing like a meet cute, but they'd be talking about solving a calculus problem at school or something. Just something they could just casually talk about and just look comfortable. They're good friends anyway, so they were comfortable, but just to ignore the camera and just to look like they're falling in love. Just to have them laugh. Even just laughing, especially in slow motion, like laughing looks like falling in love. So we just had to be silly and just keep the silliness going throughout the scene.
This is an art I can't untie. Your soul is sweet, but so is mine.
I always find, do you guys find it hard as if you're the camera person and the director and the producer and everything else? I find, and I with the movie I made, this was definitely an issue sometimes for my poor actors, is that you're worried about all your stuff and it's hard to remember to let them know they're doing okay or what you want differently because you're checking settings or you're checking a light or you're worried about sound. And then how do you guys handle doing everything when you're just like a 1 or 2 person crew?
If it's just one person, I feel like we become super impersonal. Like, I agree with you. You're just checking your camera and your equipment all the time and your shot, if it looks good or not. And I feel like sometimes we just forget that this is people in front of us and maybe they're like super stressed out and scared and shy. To solve that, I have my friend Ike with me, honestly, because she doesn't do any equipment, any technical stuff. So she can really more focus on the people and let me focus on my equipment and my direction. So personally, that's what I do when I have a privilege to get another person on set with me. Do you have a secret?
That my secret's Steve. So yeah, partner. So, and I think his secret's me. Like just that having that balance. Like that's the biggest thing. Like I remember when you were first starting before you shot the movie. I remember one thing I did tell you. I said, "Make get the sound man," because that's the worst thing to have to focus on for film. Like because films can look like crap, but if they sound like crap, it's not good.
I think I was only the sound man 3/4 of the time.
That's yeah, but it sounded good. But yeah, no, I work with Steve too, like my partner. Like he does like it's kind of funny because he's like the actor director guy, like for sure. Like I'm sort of the technical director, he's the actor director. But then he also, sorry Steve, but he also doesn't really. He forgets to thank people and tell them they've done well and like.
That's what I forget.
Touch.
I forget it so much. I'm like,
it's like
it's fine. I'm neutral.
Much to do.
If they did an amazing job, I'm flat. I'm just like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I gotta think about because I'm not thinking about the next.
You just check.
It's the next shot you're thinking about now. You're not. That's gone because it was perfect.
Yeah, so that's usually me. I go in like Steve does his thing, wanders off, and I go in and be like, that's great, You
have to do like at a wedding, like really compliment. Like when you have a couple session, if like you're doing photos or videos, like. They are not actors. They're just beautiful that day, and like they're getting married, and they want to have a perfect day and the perfect photos, and like they won't smile unless you're like, you guys look so cute, really like beautiful, like yeah, like make her dance, like turn, like perfect, like yeah, you guys are doing so great. It's almost like a habit to get, like just you say it even if you don't think it, I guess, just to make them feel okay. Like you guys did so good, but we're gonna do it again, all right?
I do sometimes if I will say that I'll say, can we do it again for me? Sorry, can we do it again? Because I mess something up, which is often true as well. But
just for security.
Yeah. Like we're shooting on film, just to make sure. Yeah.
I imagine Savannah probably wouldn't need too much coaching. She's just a very natural performer.
Yeah, no, she doesn't have a lot of experience with videos, I guess, like going into this. So she didn't know what to expect. And also, I think... musicians are all actors at some level, but at the same time too, like her thing is to take the guitar and get up on a stage, and then it just becomes her art. Like she does her thing. Whereas we brought her in to try to surprise her at the beta, and had like we had this giant setup in like one of the big giant beautiful rehearsal halls there that Aaron stole for a few hours, and we brought her in. She was like, okay, this is cool. But for her, there's no audience. There's no there's just green screens and lights and things. So she was a little bit deer caught in the headlights. So we had to prompt her a little bit. But then after that, like it doesn't, It's funny because this is where we talked about the idea a little bit beforehand, but I was jumbled and didn't have it solid in my head. We shot a little bit. Then we went into like her dressing room and we all chatted. And that's where a lot of it came out,
Okay.
like... I said, I have this idea where you're going to live in a box and then look at yourself in the box, but then watch yourself on a big screen. And do you understand me at all? She's like, no, but it sounds awesome. I'm like, okay, bro, I'll take that. But yeah, and then the acting part, like when we came and did our second shoot, which was a little bit later on, yeah, it went really easily and really well because she knew more what we were trying to get at. And then, yeah, she's pretty natural at it, so...
What's the reaction of the artists when they've seen the video, the finished product? Because that's got to be just such a completely different thing for them. You're always focused on the music, and now it has this visual component all of a sudden.
I don't know. I mean, for this one, she hasn't seen anything. She's seen like some clips, but I like this because it's her and Aaron. I was going to say it's one person as opposed to a band. But like it's her and Aaron, but we're also easy to get along with. But in the past with bands, I don't know if you've both found this, but like you get all excited, you're ready to show a video, and like you get like the 4 or 5 members together and you watch it, and you forget that each of them is watching their own performances and their own thing, and like, oh, I didn't like how I licked my lips in that shot, or I didn't like how I scratched my head, or and then it's like. You're just like, look at the whole thing, like, because you get all built. Like for me, sometimes get all built up, be like, all right, this is beautiful, it's awesome, it's perfect, and like, look at this, guys, and then each one has, not that they're nitpicking on purpose, but it's just that you're just watching yourself, and like, it's like, oh, I don't look as cool in that shot, or I don't look at like this. So I think with this one, I like that it's just one person.
Okay.
So
for me, there's always, and not with this video in particular, but what Brent was saying about they're watching themselves and they're watching their own performance. And in some ways for a music video, maybe that's appropriate because it's a promotional thing for them. It's promoting them and their music, but really them as like a commercial entity. And they are probably right if they want to look their best, but I never see it that way when I'm editing. And I'm like, what looks the best for the film? And maybe a less flattering shot makes more sense for the plot of the video, or like they don't have to look perfect in every shot because then they're more sympathetic or whatever. Or you might like when they look a little bit silly or foolish because it makes you like them, but maybe that isn't the image they're trying to put across. I know there's lots of times where I'll make a video and someone will ask for like an alternate for a shot and it's my favorite shot. And maybe it's my favorite shot because I just happen to like rack focus perfectly between two elements, foreground, background. And with music videos, if it's sync sound, like if they're performing, it's so hard to have alternates because you only have like maybe you did it 10 times, but for like the transition from the bass player to the drummer, you just have that one time that you got it. And they're like, hey, we don't really like that one. And it's because like the guy's shirt's bunched up or something. You're like, who would see that?
I hate when we do that.
But it's that negotiation, right? Of like, what's best for the video? And with this project, working with Luella, like I've known Liv forever. And so when I get notes from her, it's hard for me to remember that she's like an adult artist because she's my daughter's friend. Like she's just this kid I know. But she happens to be like an incredible musician. And then, so I'll get the note and I'll like stew about it, which I always do with any notes from anyone I'm working for. And be like, oh, what do they know? I'm like, all right. Then I always do the same thing. I take the note and I'll do it. Like I'll make the change and be like, let's see if it's better. In this case, it tended to be better. And I'm like, all right. Yeah, no, Liv's a grown up. She knows what she's doing. This was the right choice. And that happened. I did another video with her before, and the same with this one. Her notes were always, they were always right, which it doesn't always happen. Sometimes the notes are not, but in this case, they always helped.
Céline,
Nice.
did Ricky like the video?
Yes. It was almost hard to actually get like comments from him. I was like, no, Ricky, like, please watch it and tell me what you don't like. Because he was not ended. It was like my second rough cut, I think. But I showed him at first. He was like, oh, I love everything. It's amazing. I was like, no, but like, please be more specific. Like, we need, like, the deadline is in 3 weeks. Come on. But from experience, it was just easier to work with only one guy for this time and not like agree with you, like 6 guys who are like texting you, like, I don't like that shot of me, that shot of me, that shot of me. I'm like, but you don't understand the video technique and this works. And like, I don't have another shot. I just don't have another one. Like, like the overtake, I was probably moving actually. So we're going to have to deal with that. For Ricky, that was easier. One guy. So one person complaining and not 10. No, honestly, he really liked everything I did. And to a point, like I included him more in the editing process. Like I invited him at my place one day and we just edited together for a few hours. Make sure like, because my video is like full of effects, I wanted to make sure I was using every time the right light setup with the right effect and see which effects he prefer, if I could use more or less one specific. So like, I actually tried to include him a lot in the editing process to get his opinion on everything, because at the end of the day, like Jay said, this video is for them. It's not for us. When it's delivered, it's going to be on their website, their YouTube channel. Like, yes, we're sharing it, but it's promotion for them, not really for us.
Yeah, if they're not excited about it, it doesn't do them any good.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you want the band to be happy with it no matter what. And like, music videos like cost so much money. Like, it's a lot for a band that maybe doesn't have like a huge budget, a lot of money to like do that step of like, okay, I'm gonna contact a company, I want a music video. Like, it's a lot of money for them, it's a lot of time, and like, it's awful if you're not happy about it at the end. It's a terrible feeling. Like, we're not gonna reshoot everything. Like, but yeah, I like including my my musicians when I edit. I usually set them like probably draft 2 at the minimum until draft 6, final 1, final 2, final 3. Like, I always send them as many cuts, little changes I do, just to make sure like they're involved, they like it, and like.
Do you color grade before you send it to them?
Usually not, and I have to put draft 1, no color correction.
Oh, I can't send people uncolored stuff. I can't. Not even. I'm just so scared. They're just gonna be. This looks terrible. Like no, it looks flat. It's no color.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's just.
For a fun story, I worked for Immigration Canada last year, and I sent a draft because everything had to be approved. In my email, no sound mixing, no color correction, rough cut. It's not done. And the first sentence I had on the email back was like, this video looks really turned now. And like, the sound is terrible. I'm like, I know. I need to make sure you like what she says. And the editing, like, anyway. Yes, they never get that. Like, there's no
I'm
color
too scared.
correction.
I don't have the courage to send anything out not colored to anyone ever. I don't want to show my kids if I have to like. I'll dump the first shot in and then I'll like do a rough color mix of the first one and just it won't be a final color, but I'll copy it to everything else, and it makes everything take longer because everything has to render anytime you change anything. But
yeah, it does look terrible.
I'm too scared to like show it to people because everyone wants like they don't if they don't know what color grading is, then yeah.
That must be so great for the artist, though, to sort of cross that threshold into a new medium. I just feel like for a lot of people, it really legitimizes what they're doing, especially when it's supported by the city and the film festival and everything.
It's a cool opportunity. The timeline of it, I know, was tricky for Luella because they had an album release. You were there. When was that? I should know when it was. I filmed it. Was it November?
I want to say...
Did we lose time?
I was there too. What was that? Broom Factory.
I want to say November.
Let's say November.
Okay, well...
Right, so that was their album release, but we can't put this video out till March. So, like, the timeline was not... Once they, like, because they applied and stuff, and we had sort of talked about working together before.
Well, and you had already produced a video with Luella.
Yes, along the way, yeah. But the timeline of this video doesn't match, like, they're working on new music right now. So I think it's tough, too, depending where the bands are at, to wait 5 months. I mean, most of the bands had fairly finished music that they applied with, and then they're going to get a video like the next March. I think was challenging. But again, if they got it free or mostly free, which I assume most of the videos. Actually, I think we're all supposed to be at, like, the budget was supposed to be the budget, right? I know last time they were like, we'll give you $1,000 towards the video, but I think this time it was supposed to be like, that is the video, to have them all be sort of... I think there is some competition about this. There's some sort of award thing that we have to crazily decide about the best video or something. Yeah, so in that way, I mean, it's free, so they can't. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
I should have thought about awards. Damn it.
I don't think everybody stayed at the budget. Like, just used only the budget.
It's so tough, too, because you can get things like in kind, like I don't think we paid for any of our locations, but if we had to rent, like the video, it's my classic, like, I write a treatment and then don't even think, oh, there's like 17 scenes. Oh, we need 17 locations. And then we're just like scrambling and shooting for like many, many, many nights. Yeah, if we had to pay for all those locations and if I was billing for all those shoots or whatever, then it could be crazy, but yeah.
You share that with Steve.
It's just more fun.
Writing and
it's more dynamic.
Like, I just want a little shot of like a train going by while the person's jumping over with a car. And I'm like, it's just a 1 second shot. I'm like, still need a train, still need a car, still need a...
Yeah, Live in Kingston has
I still want,
like
okay,
a million.
If there's competition, though, we should call up Braden, though, and be like, how much did you spend? There was like $1,000 in stickies alone in that one shot. Did you see that image? The sticky costume?
No.
It's like it's really
even
cool.
worse, when they molded half of Cameron's face just for one prop, a coin.
For the coin.
I would love to know how much that coin cost.
And the sets. Because last time I played it safe and just did a video with Moira. That way I was not...
That video was so good. I love that video.
I couldn't win because no one could vote for it because she's runs the festival.
Oh, yeah.
So we couldn't... I'm like,
That's a great
yay!
video.
I like losing by default because then it's no shame. No. But that was the most fun video I've done in a long time. Like,
it's great, man.
Like, both of them were so awesome in that video and, like, throwing Scrabble pieces around. I'm still finding Scrabble pieces. And that was, 3 years ago, I said?
Yeah.
We shot those. So I'm still finding Scrabble pieces in the living room.
That video is great because it has a real story. You understand the characters, and it's real drama in a music video where you have, like, you understand what all the characters want And then there's like an incredible resolution, and it's super exciting.
Thanks. Yeah, that was probably the most story-driven video I've ever done. Like Steve, like that was like Steve's baby. Like because at first we were like, let's do this crazy Nerf gun fight. I'm like, and I come up with all these darker ideas and things like that. And Moira's like, I don't know, Brent. And I'm like, and Steve's like, let's just do this Nerf battle, and it's just this lifelong rivalry. So. And then that came out, so it was awesome.
What would the darker version have looked like?
Oh, there was
a real gunfight, real guns.
There was like people wearing skin suits and stuff, and like, oh no, it was, no. Yeah, no, I went, no. I remember sitting at the brew pub with Moira the one day. She kind of looked horrified at me, and I'm like, and she knows me well. I've known her for like 20 years or something, and she's like, I don't know, Brent, because I went really like dark side of things and moody and stuff, and I think I must have been angry at the time. I don't know. It's like that was like pre-COVID too when we came up with that when I came up with that concept. But,
Oh man,
yeah. So I'm glad we went with
it.
What
Turned
we
out
did.
great.
I said it's awesome. If we're doing Nerf gun fights, we're doing Die Hard shots at least. And so, do you know what time we're supposed to show up? Anyone? No. That's all I want to discuss is details. No.
Well, I do know that, yes, the Kingston Canadian Film Festival Music Video Showcase, March 4th at the Grand Theatre. We'll put a link in the description. If you're catching this podcast after the event, we will put links to all of your videos in the description so you can see what we've been talking about. One more thing, actually. Will the videos be publicly available after the event? I imagine they will eventually, but...
It's up to the artists.
Yeah, I think it'll be up to the artists.
I
think we'll probably launch right away because...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, they've been waiting for months.
Yeah.
Well, I've been waiting 3 years for this event because the last one was killed by COVID.
An hour before.
Yeah.
The last time.
No, I vividly remember I went to one of the films in the afternoon. I was like, okay, I'm going to get something to eat. Then I'm going to go to the music video show. And then Riley Jabor texted me. He said, everything's canceled. It's done.
It was so sad. I was at Red House with all of my crew, my actors and everything last time. An hour before screening and nope, go home.
I said to Eleanor, my wife, Eleanor, that I didn't want to jinx it this year because like the last year, because with having kids is, like sometimes it's hard to get out. And so when we did this last time, we actually had date night, went out for dinner downtown at the Vietnamese place and had dinner. And I remember that day where like, oh, Tom Hanks has COVID. I think the world's going to shut down. And then we're driving and I'm texting with Moira being like, oh, we'll be there in pretty soon. She's like, don't come. Like it's all shutting down. I'm like, shit. And so Eleanor said, oh, you want to go out for dinner this year? I'm like, no, we're going to curse the world if we go out for dinner without children before the screening again.
No more meals out ever. It's over.
Yeah. Ever.
Well, here's hoping this time. I know I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone's put together, not just the three of you, but the whole community. So yeah, it should be a good night, providing the world doesn't end again.
Oh my gosh. Closing.
What were we going to say about Soylent Green?
It's people.
Yeah.
This has been Kingston Live. We encourage you to rate us on your listening platform of choice and subscribe where possible. For show listings, artist info, and all things Kingston music, check out kingstonlive.ca. Kingston Live was produced in Kingston by Titan Sound. Voiceovers by Riley Jabor and John Sanfilippo. Writing and research by Peter Sanfilippo. Executive producer Rob Howard. Kingston Live is a member of the Canadian Live Music Association. We'd love to hear from you. Email us at podcast@kingstonlive.ca.